You are in the Warriors Huddle with me, Bram. With me, per usual, my master of all things video and sound, Maxime.
How's it going?
My boy and producer, MT.
What's up, Dub Nation?
Gentlemen, special episode. I'm fired up to announce that rejoining us after way too long, the host of the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game, the lead of the Warriors pre- and post-game coverage, the undisputed voice of Bay Area sports, a guy who attended today's Warriors Media Day, and a man who I may or may not send text to while he's on the air and then desperately hope he reads those texts to his audience, Mr. Bonta Hill. What's going on, Bonta?
Well, I think you succeeded last time, Brad, because you did send a text. Actually, Shasky read it because he wanted to feel cool and wanted to one-up me by using my friend that I introduced him to, and he read it on there. And then, of course, I had to kiss Brad's ass on there and said, "Damn, we didn't get him on the Morning Roast, man. It's been far too long." Psych. No.
Oh my God.
No.
I mean, just I was feeling too good about myself, you bastard. I mean, you sucked me all the way in here and then emotional roller coaster.
No, seriously. We've been. I don't know why you haven't been on the roast yet. We just got to do it. But no, it was. Yeah, you know I'll name after you. It feels time. We got 4 hours, Brad. Send me all the texts. I'll read one of them.
When you finally get that 5th hour, it'll just be my text. I'm ready to run.
Oh my gosh.
And so that that day, right? That was last Thursday. And boys, I do that. I don't do it all the time, but I 100% will text them and then sit super nervously with my butthole clenching up. Like, I wonder if they're going to read it. So did that on Thursday, and I was driving out to a speaking gig. I had a thing at a legal conference, so I couldn't hear whether or not I landed. I get in there, I'm literally speaking on stage, and my phone starts to vibrate. I wanted to take a break from my speech to go look. I thought, I think they're reading it. I think they read it. So there's a little glimpse into me, but I can't waste a second of this, boys. We've got limited time with Bonta. We've got a very important preview episode here. It's our annual prediction show. But before I ask you any predictions, Bonta, because we haven't touched base with you during the offseason, today was media day. Theoretically, the season's starting, right? They're on their way to Hawaii training camp. Give me a glass half full, man. Something you like or don't about the Warriors heading into training camp?
Well, I like the confidence of Brendan Pajemski right away. Brendan was like, "What's up, Bonta?" He goes, "When are you going to get me a studio?" I'm like, "What?" It's like, "You want to come to the studio with Shasky and I?" "Okay, great. Awesome." And he just kind of said, "Hey, man, I think we're going to be good. People are sleeping on us. And we're going to let it fly. We got some shooters." I said, "Okay. All right, I'm easy. I'm easy to. You can sell me on this. I'm optimistic when it comes to the Golden State Warriors. Running to Andrew Wiggins, looks like he was in good spirits. Say, hey, my condolences go out to you and the fam and all that stuff. Thank me very much for that. Steph actually came up to me and goes, hey, man, you got to meet your boy Wet, and don't ask me about Wet. That's another discussion. But he's like, oh man, I ran into him last week. I have a good friend whose nickname is Wet. Now, I'm not going to explain how he got the name.
I mean, how many times are you not going to tell us, dude? You can't keep saying Wet and then be like, no, fuck you.
I don't think you're going to want the name. It's a long story that makes no sense. But the fact that he said Wet, I was like, wait a minute, Steph, what? And you remember that? And so, I like the vibes. They're all getting ready to go to Hawaii. I think they're chomping at the bit to really prove that this run isn't over. And if they just get off to a good start, the sense I get is, boy, if they get off to a good start, they'll be in a mix for the next disgruntled superstar. And they have the assets. They have the picks. They finally got under that apron. I think they're in a good spot if they can get off to a really, really good start. So, yeah, it was good vibes. Always good vibes at Media Day.
Did you tell Brandon Pajemski you're always looking to fill content so he can come into the studio at any point, or no, that's just reserved for me? I won't give you a like and don't. They've heard it too much. And in fact, we're going to go deep into it. The only like I'll give is an obvious one. I like, and remember this, guys, we have to really focus on this because there's only 3 years left. I like that we still have 30 in our lives. For as long as Steph is here to perform at the level he showed us in France, you got to just soak up every second, because real soon, way faster than anybody wants, it's not going to be something that we can say. All right. Okay. Big time episode. All right. So prediction show and a little history. Bonta has joined us on this show every time he's done or has joined us on this show for prediction shows. We've done it 5 years in a row, and every time we keep track of everyone's guesses. And then Matty Stats comes out and tells us who was right. So bad news, boys. Bonta is 4-1. I mean, I'm saying not just against me, against if we have 4 people guessing and 3 of us represent the huddle, Bonta has gone 4-1 against all of us. Good news is we won the last one. So by boxing rules, we are the reigning world champions of the world. No one even cares what happened in the first 4. So
you guys are gracious hosts, and kind of like my little brothers and little sisters. Sometimes you got to let them win every now and then just to make them feel good. You know what I'm saying?
You refer to me as the reigning champ.
It's like my daughter. We're playing games on the iPad. I'm like, I can really kick your ass, but I'm gonna let you win because I want you to know what it feels like to win.
Is your
nobody
daughter
likes
a reigning
to lose
champ in anything too? Is she currently better than you in a bunch of things? Because we are in guessing things about the Warriors. Just fun fact.
Let me just say, I'm a sore loser. I don't like losing, so I'm ticked off with this 4-1 record. I'm like really peeved.
It's exactly what I want to hear.
Little reigning champs to you.
Little reigning champs, yeah. You little reigning champs. You paper champs. You're like the 2019 Toronto Raptors. You little champs with the Astros.
Settle down. Okay, let's get to our title defense. And honestly, the first question is the one that's most important, and it's this: who the fuck is Wet Wet, and where does that nickname come from? Apparently, for another discussion.
One of my good friends, and yes, it's for another discussion. Even Steph said, I don't want to know how he got that nickname. You don't have to explain it to me whatsoever. And I told Steph, I do not want to explain it to you at all either. So
has nothing to do with his jump shot. Put it like that.
That makes one of 4 people because I would like to hear that. And this is not a real question, but one I almost included in here. Now that Klay Thompson's no longer here, are we still allowed to use the phrase splash with the Warriors? Because you can't call him fucking Splash Brother, because there's no longer Splash Brothers, And so what do we just splash Steph? Has that phrase officially died? But Matty Stats can't keep track of the answer to that question. So instead, Bonta, here's our first prediction question. Who averages more points this upcoming season per game? Andrew Wiggins, Klay Thompson, or Jonathan Kuminga?
Oh, my gosh, that's a hell of a question. Right out the gate. Speaking of Klay, we did miss. That's the one thing I didn't like about Media Day. There's no number 11. He's wearing 31 for the Mavericks. It was just kind of strange.
Did they talk about him? Did anybody bring him out?
I didn't hit the pressers, and I haven't caught up with all the press as of now. I haven't caught up with the press conference sound yet. I'll do that when I get home. But just seeing Buddy Hield walking around, I was like, man, Buddy Hield is really a member of the Golden State Warriors. Say what's up to him. He's always been a good dude from what I hear, and he presented himself well. But to get to your question, Bram, no Klay Thompson cheese. I'll go Jonathan Kuminga. I'll go with the upset. Contract year. When he got the haircut last year, after not playing the last 18 minutes of the Denver Nuggets game and going to the media and his agent say, hey, man, that's it. We're out. We want to leave. He had to sit down with Steve Kerr. He cuts his hair. Started averaging 20. Started averaging nearly 20 a game the rest of the way. So I think he's a natural-born scorer. Hopefully he can get his teammates involved. I do think Wiggins is going to improve. I'm buying stock in Andrew Wiggins this year. I think his dad, that situation weighed on him a lot. And who am I to say how to handle a situation like that? I don't know how close he was to his father. I'm not going to comment on that. Everybody grieves differently, right? So I think Kuminga in the contract year to show that, hey, he's worth a max contract, a max extension. I'm going JK here.
I like that answer. And I like you calling out that he did have that bump right after he shaved his head. Because it's worth calling it out now because he's dyed that hair, right? We've had another big hair change. So maybe there's going to be a bump in points because of it.
Look, I ran into his social media manager and his boy, G-Baby, they call him. They call him G-Baby. And I was like, where's your blonde hair at? He goes, nah, man, I just got the waves, and the waves was crispy. Bram, Maxime, and T, man, the waves made me jealous. But I said, where's your dyed hair at? So, look, this could go a number of different ways. But when you dye your hair blonde like that, it means that you want all the smoke. And you're about that life.
No,
so you know what? True. Do you, JK? Do you?
It's 100% true. The next time we're on this show together, my hair will be dyed like that, so you can get excited for that.
He looks like one of the Golden Lords from Meteor Man, if you ever seen that movie.
Like Wesley Snipes, Demolition Man or something, right? Or just Meteor Man, yeah. It's just, hey, we bringing it back in the day, man. We bringing it back to the 90s.
Let's go. I was Simon Phoenix. I was just about to give up. I was just about to impress you with the name of his character in Demolition Man. There we go. Demolition Man is Simon Phoenix. I'll change the answer. I'm going with Andrew. I think that JK is a phenomenal answer. Klay is in some ways dead to me, so I'm not going in that direction. And so much of the Warriors' hopes land on Wiggins' resurgence. So I'm on board. I go him. Gentlemen, I'm going to keep the Huddle's picks to just 2 per. So if either of you would like to jump on this one, know that we'll switch it on the next one. So up to you. Who's got
I just want to point out that Wiggins also shaved his head recently. So if we're going by the hairstyle change, there's just as much of an indication that Wiggins could be up for a big season. So I'm backing Bram on this one.
That line inning is crisp, and Bram knows on the morning rush we have a drop where I say I'm buying stock in Andrew Wiggins, and the rest of the guys laugh at me. I do think Andrew Wiggins, on a serious note, he's a barometer of where this team can go. If he's on as a two-way player, defending opposing guards, and playing at a high level, hitting the mid-range, and being efficient. This team will be, and this is a team that won 46 games despite everything that happened last season. I like the Andrew Wiggins answer, but I think Kuminga's going to be hungry, though. He's going to get a lot of easy buckets going to the lane, and his ability to get to the free throw line, I think, will help him in this case. But I'm not mad at Andrew Wiggins, man. I'm buying stock in him, fellas.
MT, I know we're going to lose you, and I want the Huddle to have more than one player on the board. Who's your guest, dude?
I'm in on Andrew as well for the same reasons. I think, like Bonta said it well. Like, people grieve in their own ways, and I don't want to go there with how his relationship was with his dad, but if it was anything like it was with mine, and when he passed, it gave me a different sense of urgency and renewed kind of energy towards life. So I think that's what Andrew's going to bring to the table. And if he's locked in to the points that are made and we get two-way wigs, then I think we're in a good position.
Bonta, as a host, you can appreciate I almost completely cost this show that great emotional response, dude. If I had not asked him, well, I would have been totally fucked on that. But we triggered it. Nicely played, MT. This next question, all right, needs a little bit of buildup. So buildup number one, we have been talking, Bonta, about Draymond's availability all offseason. One of the big questions, right? Yep. And so the over-under I'm going to ask you is how many games will he be here? Last year he played 55. The other setup. So he was asked during media today, and I can't tell from the voice. I think it's Scott Ostler, but I can't tell. I'm not sure.
Well, we're going to play the clip. Where you're going. Yeah,
okay, Scott, there you go. So he had a back and forth. I think he must have been asked something about, should your teammates be worried about you, with the idea being worried about your availability, right? But here's the actual back and forth they had.
Name your teammates.
All they worry about me, I'm a successful black man in America doing incredibly well. What's the worry?
They worry about you.
There are way more people in this world to worry about than me, that's for sure.
But we're here now. So
we're all here. I don't think you should worry about me.
Okay.
I'm doing pretty well. If you would have told me when I was 13 years old in Saginaw, Michigan, without a pot to piss in, that you'd be sitting here and somebody would say they're worried about you, I would have probably told them they were out of their mind. I'd be sitting here and they'd be worried about me.
Well, they're worried for themselves too. They want to know.
They don't feed.
They know the team needs you.
So why are they worried?
Because they know the team needs you.
But they don't feed.
And they don't know if you're going to be here.
Doing this. I'm here. I've been here for 13 years now.
If you're going to be here every night.
Been here pretty much every night for 13 years.
Not so.
Very much so.
So you missed something.
We all have.
Okay.
Look, Kevon Looney played 82 games 2 years in a row, and everybody was celebrating. We all miss games.
No, what I'm talking about, they want to know if you're going to be here, like, mentally.
I'm always here.
You got suspended.
And suspension, the guideline of getting suspended.
We can cut it there. Play the full clip.
Because it's supposed.
Play the full clip on the audio side. Next time. Bonta, I know you've heard this whole thing, and so I got 2 follow-ups with you. One, you've gone through this. You on air with Draymond had a quick little back and forth where he didn't want to listen. You were very smart in that setting. You allowed him to have it, and then went on because you're taping a live television show. Like what the hell else can you do? But in that circumstance, you find yourself in that fucking room. You're asking a question, and Bonta is fighting you back. Is there, what do you do as a reporter? Is there any option outside of just letting him finish his sentence?
Yeah, it depends on how you want to play it, right? I mean, look, television is different, and look, I don't think there's any broadcasting class that could prepped you for a situation like that. I still cringe when I see the clip. Like, oh man, could I have handled it better or whatnot? Or it is what it is. But look, man, that's when you have a radio show and you're critical of players and they clap back, you gotta roll with the punches, right?
Yep.
In that setting, Scott probably should have just flat out asked. And look, Scott's been doing this a long time. Who the hell am I to tell Scott how to do his job? He's been writing columns in the LA Times when I was in diapers, for crying out loud. So he knows what he's doing. But if I was Scott and I'm approaching it knowing that, hey, are your teammates worried about you? I would have just said, are your teammates worried about you? Because last year you missed a lot of games due to suspension and you had to lead the team. Do you think they're worried about you? And how will you try to stay on the floor this season? You got to keep it schedule, because the back and forth all of a sudden it becomes, nobody ever wants to. Like I tell young journalists all the time, the point of being a journalist or being a broadcaster, you want to make a name for yourself, sure, but that's not the way to do it. I'm never trying to make my name off like that clip that between Draymond and I try to debunk it as much as possible because I don't want to be known for that. I want to be known as a credible guy who gets along with players. And to the Warriors' credit, man, they respect me 100%. And I think Draymond does too, for that matter. I think Draymond and I would be fine. All the players, Steph is saying what's up, and this guy is saying what's up, and they're all being respectful. Obviously, they don't look at me as a guy who's just trying to get clickbait and trying to get a reaction and trying to go viral. In that situation, I don't think Scott was trying to be viral. They're having a nice, professional back and forth, and those things happen. Scott's not going to back down. Draymond's not going to back down. And so it is what it is. I'm sure it was a little uncomfortable for some people in that room. But at the same time, I'm sure some people were like, oh, let's get our popcorn here. This is very interesting. And so already on day one, I wouldn't say those are fireworks, but it was a very interesting back and forth because I know where Scott was trying to get to. Probably should have just got there, maybe cut him. I was like, hey, Draymond, you got suspended. How do you stand on court? Are your teammates worried about you? Blah, 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 blah. So, it played out the way it played out. I probably would have handled it a little bit differently.
So I've established already, just with the pseudo shit talking between you and I'm not always going to kiss your ass. Bonta, you handled that thing with Draymond very well. No ifs, ands, or buts. Yeah, so you handled it well. Second thing, turning it back to Warriors prediction. Just as a fan, this is my take, nobody else's. That answer is exactly what the fuck I did not want to hear. I mean, Draymond knew what was being asked. You're right, Bonta. You can rephrase it. You can pinpoint the question, but he knew not only what was being asked, he knew it was going to be asked. And media day is the one day where it's just kumbaya with everybody. When the Warriors are winning 15 games, they'd come in on media day and be like, "Look, everything's great. It's working out perfectly. We might win 82 this year. Let's fucking see." And on media day, for him to be like, "Look, fuck you. I don't know what you mean. I'm going to make this a giant issue before it's an issue," is not, God, man, that's not what I want to hear.
It started with, if you go back, it started, if I'm not mistaken, hey, your teammates worried about you. And I think that was it. It said, hey, are your teammates worried about you staying on the floor this year?
No, it's fair.
And he goes, man, there's a lot of other people to worry about it with the exception of me. So maybe just coming out right away to establish that, it said, are your teammates worried about you this season? You know what I'm saying? Because to be honest, his teammates are not worried about him staying on the floor. They expect him to stay on the floor. Now, if he gets ejected and gets suspended, then his teammates are going to be let down, which was the case last season because you mentioned 55 games. What was it, 17 due to suspension? Be another game to ramp up. Well, they won 46 games. You're telling me in those 15 to 16, 17, 18 games that Draymond doesn't play, they don't get 50 wins? I think he's that good of a player. He's that impactful for this team, this particular team. Now, we can nitpick the way he plays, and I nitpick with the way he plays offense. I think he shoots the three. He's getting wide open threes. I watch him in pregame warm-ups. You hit him over and over. Just let that thing fly. You know what I'm saying? They're not guarding you. Let it fly. But, those games that he missed last year obviously hurt this team, and they get back to the playoffs. You could talk about the year before, discuss the year before with what happened in training camp. That hurt the team in the chemistry with Steve Kerr's touchdown and a lot of players that touchdown. So Draymond knew what the question was, but you got to be tactful as a reporter knowing that these players are not dummies. They're not everyone thinks these players are just, they could just play that. No, these guys are smart. They know what's going on, and they get prepped up by their PR director. So you got to be straightforward with some of these guys. The best probably tactic I would have used. Hey man, are your teammates worried about you due to what happened last season?
Being on the floor.
Suspended everything.
No,
So
your distinction's on the money. Just saying, are they worried about you? You're right. It does open that up, but let's weaponize it. The number is 60. Over under games. How many does Draymond play next year?
I've already got a bet with Shasky going to the house
that he's going to play over 65 games. So I've got him playing over 60, well over 60. I'm betting on that. I'm taking that to the house.
Over as well for me. Maxime?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to argue with that much. But boy, I hope it's over.
MT, start us on this next one. Place these next 3 teams in the order of their finish at the end of the regular season. Golden State, the Lakers, and the Memphis Grizzlies.
Grizzlies, Warriors, Lakers.
Bonta?
Oh, man. Yeah, I'll go Grizzlies, Warriors, Lakers as well.
Clean sweep, although I should be smart enough to switch this up so the Huddle has 2 entries, but I won't. I'll play it straight. Bonta, how does Clay get to his first game back at Chase? Boat or Mavs team bus? Because there's a portion of this where like he kind of acknowledges, I'm back home, not home. I'm back to this place, and could play into it by taking a boat over, You
know what? I believe they have a day off or 2 before. So they fly in, and I think he comes on the boat. And since Kyrie Irving asked Klay Thompson a couple of years ago, hey, I want to get on the boat, when Kyrie was a member of the Brooklyn Nets, he not only comes in on the boat, he brings Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic with him. Hell, you know what? The entire squad is going to be on that boat. Boat to Chase Center.
Yeah. What I love about that, man, because what I was going to phrase it as like, look, boat, he's still siding with the Warriors. Mavs team bus, he's siding with the Mavs. But if they do some shit where they're all, like it's all the Mavs coming over, then it's like we've incorporated them. I tell you, I don't even know who the new owner of the Mavs is. I know it's not fucking Mark Cuban. So not Mark Cuban should go and buy a dope ass Mavs team boat and put them all on a team boat and have them come over there together.
I think they're all coming on the boat. Clay's going to talk, hey man, let's go get to San Francisco Bay Area, cool, crisp air. Let's go get by the water. I guarantee you at least 2 of his teammates are going to be on that boat with him when he boats in for that first game at Chase Center.
I like that answer. More All-Stars next season. Golden State or Sacramento?
Well, De'Aaron Fox is going to get the sympathy award. He's going to get the sympathy All-Star votes. Steph would be there as well. And for certain, Sacramento and how much they love Domantas Sabonis, even though there's a lot of empty calories that goes with that. Somehow, some way, since he got snubbed last season, quote unquote snubbed, Sacramento will have 2 All-Stars. Warriors will have 1.
I'm going the same direction. MT, what's your guess?
Push 1-1. I don't think Sabonis makes it again. I think it's Fox and Curry.
It just depends on who they added DeRozan, right? Do they come out of the ashes?
That's the point. That's a good point.
But like if they come out of, I think you're right. It's Sabonis if they get there. But if they fight themselves back into the national conversation, if they're the same place they were 2 years ago, 2. But if they're not, if they're kind of flailing, no one gives a shit about Sacto. So I think they'll be on the way out. I like that push.
I like that push.
Yeah, I like the push. You can't change your answer. You can't steal a Huddle answer. No, you're locked in.
I'm my case here, though. I'm shifting my case for all the Warriors Huddle people out there with this prediction. The documentary they did on Jason Tatum, who's it? Jimmy Butler, LeBron, Sabonis. I think I'm missing one. That he will get so much love from that documentary. He'll become a household name because of that documentary. That all of a sudden he's going to get a lot of new fans. And I'm like, you know what? We love this European guy.
That's a really good call.
Dude.
That is a good call.
He's going to get that love, those extra votes that matter due to that documentary on Netflix. You watch.
MT, just change your vote. I'm changing my vote. I'm going 2. 2 for sure. This is what it is. I don't know.
Starting 5, all Kings.
I don't know if you consider the fucking Netflix thing, but for sure, it's 2. All right, quick for the next 2, and then I've got one serious one for you. All right, give me quick answers, and then we'll handle these in a different podcast. Bonta. Number 1, will the Warriors acquire a $30 million or more player before the end of the season? So, will they make a trade for a giant difference maker before the playoffs?
Yes.
I love it. I won't make you give this a name. Hopefully, we'll be able to talk about that name when we get there. Second to last question. Will the Warriors play in a 7-game series this year?
Yes, they will. They will be back in the 7-game series.
Let's go. All right.
They will be back in the 7-game series.
2 optimistic points for this slightly pessimistic question. Was that Olympic gold medal game the most important game Steph Curry will play over the last 6 years of his career? All right, because here's where I'm coming from. 2022 is when he won the finals. Yeah, so title. 2020, and we now know he is most likely gone in 26-27. So 6-year stretch. Have we already seen the most important game he'll play in?
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh,
it kills me to think about,
Yeah,
and it kind of feels, just while you're saying this to Vamp, his reactions as it was happening, what it meant to him and how he's talked about it since makes me feel like he thinks that, that he has already kind of processed it.
I think the smart money is to say that he has played in the biggest game of his career, but you never know what can happen in this wacky league. And you didn't give me the caveat by saying it had to be with the Golden State Warriors. What if he
No, I didn't.
What if he gets traded somewhere and he gets to form a super team and he go play deep in the playoffs? I'm gonna say no. He's got bigger games on the horizon than that Olympic gold medal game. Now, will it be with the Warriors? I certainly hope so. He got that fat extension for $60+ million. So no, he's gonna be in bigger games. He's gonna be in bigger games.
Man, do I hope you're right on that.
I know. Me too.
I hope you're right on that, man. I don't know. If I was going to give you a glass half empty when we first started this, it's as much as I like this team, as much as I think they've had a successful offseason, doesn't feel like we're in the title contention unless we add that $30 million player, like with the OKCs of the world and what New York just did. Like it feels like we're a little bit on the outside looking in. And if that's true, he may have played his most important game. And I'll even say, even if Steph goes to another city, he joins some super team and they make it back to the finals, I'm not sure his participation on that super team, like whatever he ends will mean as much as, getting that gold medal, or if he somehow returned to it here with a depleted roster. So I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it softly because it breaks my heart. Yes. I think we've seen the most important game he's going to play over the last 6 years. Maxime, MT, close us out.
I mean, first of all, you talked about Bonta. You were like, you didn't give the caveat that would be on the Golden State Warriors, and I wanted to interrupt and be like, Bram, give that caveat because I don't want to go down this. I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah.
What an intense range of emotions for me. And I'm like, and now I can't even decide which one I want because that option is open. But generally, I agree. I think the smart move is in saying that we just saw it, and look, and like, it's hard because that's already in the past, but that was so much fun. We've already litigated it to death, but what a gift to us as fans to have that. I mean, it sucks that it's already happened and it's not something to look forward to, but you can at least sit and bask in the glory of what that incredible run was.
I think if the definition is important, then it doesn't matter. Even if he were to win another championship and be the MVP, because he's already done that. He had not won an Olympic gold medal, and he did it in a fashion where he had struggled up until those final 2 games, and to go nuclear for the final gold medal game, I think that's the height of important games. So even if he were to win another championship with the Warriors and this team punches above their weight, I think important, if that's the word we're using, I think it's no. I think the Olympics still wins.
That was a feel-good-ass response. I mean, it makes me feel like you left the possibility of him going in and playing big things. Like, we still have big Steph games ahead of us. And I can tell you that the Olympic one was most important. Nicely played, MT. Bonta, missed you. Really, these episodes are hella fun, but to do them in the beginning with the voice of the Golden State Warriors means the fucking world to us. So we appreciate you. And for anyone out there who needs far more Bonta Hill in their life, where do they go?
I don't think anybody needs far more Bonta Hill because, especially Giants fans right now, because I'm ducking all over them. Some tweets just didn't age well for a lot of you Giants fans. Oh, this is Warrior Huddles, right? Sorry. Keep it basketball. At Bonta Hill on, I guess, X. I keep saying Twitter, but on X, 957thegame.com, Instagram at Bonta Hill. I'm always there. And look, I got to congratulate you guys, man. Another season, and this podcast is still going strong. I know about the podcast world. I see so many podcasts hey, we got a podcast, and they fall off 6 months later. They fall off 2 years later. They fall off 3 years later. This thing is still running and humming, and we got graphics on this bad boy, implementing sound. Warriors Huddle's come a long way, man. So congratulations to you guys on keeping this running for another season, man. This is awesome.
Appreciate you saying that. In fact, perfect transition. We have a huge announcement. We are switching a lot of our social media presences to whoiswetwet.com. We're planning a documentary. There's a lot of things that are coming, but your support has meant the world to us. That's why we're here. You want to get us an email, a take, anything, you can shoot that email to
Huddle@warriorshuddle.com.
that in mind. Go Warriors. Hopefully see you next week.